So if no more questions, I'm going to pass it on to our next person. Michael Bonanno will be talking about Qualtrics.
Hello.
Michael?
Thanks, Rick. I'm Michael Bonanno. I'm going to be talking about the Qualtrics online survey and insight platform. There we go.
Yeah, it looks like you're not enrolled in anything at the moment. You have an account.
Okay.
So
now, the first question you might ask with the name of Qualtrics is, what is it? But like the title of this presentation said, online survey and insight platform, it's really two things. The first part is the online surveys, and the second part is the reporting of those surveys, which they call the insight platform.
This is an organization.
Basically, the surveys give you, without having to code anything,
It's not going to just be semester to semester.
Close to 100 different types of questions that you can ask. Right here, there's a standard matrix, and then there is a much more complex drag and drop pick group and rank question underneath that. Just for an example of two of the types of questions, but I'll get into that a little more.
No, I can add
and
the
under the insight platform, to give you an idea, this is a crosstab report. Just with a couple clicks of a button, you can crosstab a couple different features or a couple different questions, and I will get to that later, but just wanted to give you a brief view of how it works. So, why should you use it? Well, I know a lot of people have used SurveyMonkey. Can anyone here tell me who's used SurveyMonkey? Can you raise your hand if you have?
Yeah, so anyone who's enrolled in that will be able to see it.
Kitan. And Nick. Okay. Well, SurveyMonkey is, that's the thing. A lot of people have used it, and you'll recognize the Qualtrics interface pretty quickly. If you haven't used it, the reason people use SurveyMonkey usually, besides being free, is that it's very easy to pick up. And Qualtrics is about the same, just with a lot more options. And it's the big advantage. There's several advantages, but one is that it's much more powerful. There's many more types of questions than SurveyMonkey or Google Forms, which is another platform people are using to collect information. As you can see here on this screen, this is just an example of the types of questions that are available. And you can see there's 4 different groups here. One is called static content, and that's where if you're starting with a blank page, yes. If you're starting with a blank page, you would you can enter descriptive text to let people know where you're going, to let people know what they need to do, or you can put graphics for your branding or to make it fit in with the rest of your website. They're not really questions; they're just standard, just static. The next part is the standard questions. And while there appear to be only 6, there are many, many variations of each of these, and I'll get into those a little bit later. And then there are a series of specialty questions. Some of these are just fun. Some of them are more for serious marketing types that have special ways of analyzing them. And then the advanced questions are, once again, not really questions. You can add timers in to force people to finish the quiz or the survey in a certain amount of time. And the meta info question is kind of interesting. It tracks a bunch of browser information. operating system, browser versions, and a few other things. And IP address is always captured. And you can also have a CAPTCHA verification to make sure you're dealing with humans. Some of the, besides just the more types of questions, you get some more logic that you don't get in SurveyMonkey. I know you can do some of this, but you can do it in a more advanced way in Qualtrics. For example, skipping allows you to skip a question if based on an answer to a previous question, or other conditions as well. But in this case, if question 3, which products have you tried? If the answer is cake, then we will display this question, which would be possibly a question about whether you like the cake. The other interesting thing available is typing. Up here, we have the question, how would you rate, and then there's a big blurb, how would you rate blank and its cars on the following 4 issues? This is question 5. The previous question was which sports car do you own? And if you were to go through that and pick which brand you own, the brand would then appear in this question. And you do not have to enter this gobbledygook by yourself. There's a GUI where while you are writing, you can it will present you with a full list of all the questions in the surveys, and you can pick down to just pick down by clicking which questions you want, which questions or answers you want to appear in the text of this question. The next big thing that that Qualtrics gives you is collaboration. You can very easily work with other people without having to share passwords, share account information. It can be pretty much anyone with an email address, and you can finely tune what kind of access that person has. Are they going to be helping you build the questionnaire, or more likely they're going to be someone doing some kind of analysis with your data? So you can give them specific rights to your data. One of the other powerful things that is that it's integrated with, can be integrated with KNID and single sign-on. First of all, just to get to the Qualtrics platform, you need to authenticate using your KNID. But then you can go into your questions, your surveys, and require KNID authentication. This is just an example of what the screen looks like. I'll once again get into this in a little bit later in the demonstration. But you can besides the KNID, you can actually get information out of it, such as their SHE number, their full name, and email address. And finally, you have a lot of reporting options available in Qualtrics. I mentioned this earlier, a crosstab report is really just as simple as picking which question you want across the top, and which one goes then which one goes along the side. Over here, we have a question. I experienced personal growth, such as updating skills and learning different jobs, and we can break that down by the length of time that people have worked in the company, basically just by clicking 2 buttons. So it's fairly similar to using some of the reports that you might get in Excel. And it's very customizable. The GUI itself is very customizable. There's from the images that you can add in to there's a rich text editor for all of the questions, and you can even customize the CSS if you want very, very detailed control. As far as arguments against it, there's not that many. The most common complaint is that it's very expensive, or more expensive than people want to pay, but the university has a license, so it's basically free for all of us in the university community. Data is stored off-site, so this may not be appropriate for your type of data, but there is the benefit of having very high availability at a relatively low cost to the university. And there is not much support from the university. For example, if you are integrating a K&ID, I had to figure out some pretty obscure codes to get that information in there. And the university's only real, the only real help that the university gives is a link to Qualtrics' own help system. So, with that aside, if I can get to the demonstration. Let's see. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Should see? Okay, Brett can. When you first log into Qualtrics, you will be presented with the My Surveys tab. And this is pretty much your home from where you can do most things that you want. Here you can see all the surveys that I have, and you can see some of the most important information of whether this survey is active. You can see how many responses have been made already, and you have the tasks pane where you can do most everything that Qualtrics can do, you can do from this page. But to start, just to quickly show you how easy it is to set up a survey, we can just hit the Create Survey button or go to the Create Survey tab, and we'll be presented with this page. The Quick Survey Builder will present us with a blank survey. We can also create from a copy or pull out of a survey library. Qualtrics has their own library of predefined surveys. The university could also, we could also load them into a university library. However, there is not a maintained library from the university, but there could be. But I'm going to start with just a blank survey, and I'll call it VOH1 for virtual office hours. And I will create a new question, and just to give you an idea of some of the interesting things it does, so if I write the first question, it'll start out with a multiple choice question, and if I just type in what is your gender, Qualtrics will, it has a bit of intelligence there. It will make automatic choices for the responses. If I actually ask, do you enjoy coffee? It's a yes/no question, so Qualtrics will figure that out. And now, I wanted to show a little bit about how the grid works. If I were to type a question such as rate these beverages, I can choose a matrix over here, and I can, over here I could write down a list of the different types of beverages I wanted. I can add in different scale points. I can choose different types of names for my scale points, different strongly agree, strong disagree, up to strongly agree, that kind of thing. Or I can do a whole bunch of other types of scale points, and Qualtrics will adjust them based on the number of points that you choose. In addition, there's a couple more unusual types where, for example, you can do a constant sum where you can tell people they have to arrange that they may have to. This one doesn't really make sense in this category, but you can pick items that add up to a certain sum, so you can try to decide how much value people give certain objects over other objects. Or you can use a newer type of question, the max diff question, where a person will say their least favorite on one side, favorite on the other side when they're presented with a list, and then they can only choose one. They could only choose one from each side. So that's called a max diff, and it's got a more relatively recent question that marketing people seem to enjoy. And let's see. And just in case you have people that are doing the same, you seem to find that the top answer is getting the, no matter what you do, the top answer is getting the most positive results or getting checked the most. You can randomize these so that every time a different person logs in, there's the questions will be presented and the choices will be presented in a random order. If I can go back and show you a more completed survey. This is based on a template from Qualtrics, but you can get I'll just give you a brief idea of some of the things you can do that I know are lacking in some other packages. For example, this list of what brand of car have you owned most recently. It's pretty long. You could change the orientation, but I don't really like that. You could set up columns and decide that that's the way I like it the best. In addition, you can see this question is the one that is piped over to this question. And setting up the pipe is as simple as what I'm doing right here. That will create the piped information. You can see another example of a max diff question over here, where instead of putting text in the middle, you can insert graphics. Almost any place you can insert text, there is also an option to use the rich text editor, which will allow you to insert graphics. And there's a couple unusual types of questions, such as this one. This is a heat map, which people would click on the part of the car, and you would see what looks like a thermal image at the end. Your data would look like a thermal image of the parts that people like would be glowing in red. They have different types of sliders that may be useful, may not. And the last two I want to show you are this one is the drill down, and you can simply create a Excel sheet with some model number, which in this case I did like years, makes, and model numbers. That I put that in an Excel sheet and then imported the Excel sheet into this question, and when I preview it, you'll see how this works. And one other example is a thing similar to the heat map, and I'll show you how that works when I preview these. I choose a couple answers on the first page, and you'll see my answer has been piped over to this page. This is completely unformatted. There's a whole lot of beautification that could be done, but there I've created a heat point. And over here I can pick a year and determine that was my favorite car based out of whereas different choices would appear in 2014 on my spreadsheet. There was no Yugo, so we would have to pick something else. And then I can go through a car and I can rate the different parts of the car. I don't like that, but I really like that. Oops. And I like that. So that was an example of just what some of the more advanced types of questions. And if I can quickly talk about the distribution options. Once you create a survey, it's not active. You can activate it right here. You can make it available anonymously, or you can email links out to a group of people and have it have unique links sent out to each person so that they will you can track their information by their email address, or in the case of since we're here at the university, we have authentication. We can use authentication, and by setting up what we called survey flow, and we can just add an authenticator, which in our university is Shibboleth. And these options right here would make it so that only a person that has valid CAN ID can log in. And if we wanted to capture some information, we could, for example, like I said before, capture their email address or their name or C number. I'll cancel that. And last thing I needed to talk about was the results, or the insight part of the platform. I don't actually have any results in this particular survey, but I do over here. So I can, from the My Surveys tab, just see my results directly from here, and there's a couple different ways of viewing them. There is the initial report, which goes through each question and shows you the exact answers as well as some statistical analysis. And every part of each report can be downloaded, exported either to Word, into a PowerPoint, or Excel. You can also sort of drill down and look at individual responses and download data as a whole as opposed to individual parts of the data. And there's, once again, several different formats, including SPSS. And as I mentioned earlier, there was the crosstabs report, which you can very easily set up, just like I did before, by choosing a couple options and clicking a button, and you get a very nice report. So that is my demonstration of Qualtrics. I'll stop the sharing. Okay. So in summary, Qualtrics is a free tool for building surveys, sign-up sheets, polls, or anything else that you can think of where it may help you. It provides more types of questions than similar products, and it has some basic built-in reporting that may be enough for what you're interested in, but it has comprehensive exporting, so you can later do whatever you need to do with your data. It integrates with KNID, or it can be anonymous, and it allows you to easily collaborate with other surveyors, and it can be stylized, well, as I said, to a much greater extent than other programs to fit into your website or whatever your theme happens to be. All right. Thank you very much. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick, for attending, and that concludes our virtual office hours for March 26th. Have a good day.